Just trying to see. All right.
Hold on, let me see.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we gotta be.
Oh shit!
Go.
All right, here we are. Hey, it's preseason for the podcasters, y'all. Preseason for the podcasters. Things happen. If Sammy Reyes can bobble, we can. So we here. I hope you are.
We here.
We here, baby.
We're going to talk about overall reaction to our preseason game. We're going to talk starters, offense, defense. We're going to slide into the rookies, and we're going to even talk about the new revamped Washington Wizards. So, as we always do and say at this time, let's get it.
That'll get raunchy. Same spot made Biggie wanna rock Versace. DC, home of the press, home of the feds.
All right. Hey, listen, we having a good time. I don't know if you noticed. That's what we all about, man. When you come to the DMV Sports 3, man, you better bring your cup. You know, it could be coffee or whatever. But this morning, right here, this Saturday morning, we here talking, having a good time. Those of you who don't know, and a lot of you are just seeing our show for the first time. All of us are great friends. We knew each other ever since we were little tot. We are the few, which is why we call ourselves the OG of the DMV, to see all 3 Super Bowls and know what's going on and happening. And so we're just here as DMV sports fans. And today we're going to start off with the Washington football team. All right. So fellas, I'm going to play quarterback today. Let's go around and talk about your overall feelings of preseason game 1. Just a brief overall. Break it down.
Well, I start off first. I thought it was, definitely a good opening start. I thought that Fitzmagic was looking pretty decent. The team was in and out of the huddle quickly. They looked like they was organized. They looked like they knew what they was doing. Yes, we do need some work. There's some things that we need to improve, man. But just the overall feel of the team was, it was crispness. We got in and out of the huddle. We looked like we know what we was doing. We wasn't out of position. So I like what I saw from the opening preseason game.
Get on that. You got to fall on that, big man. You got to fall on that.
Rookie mistake. Listen, I'm glad this is the first preseason game. I wasn't really expecting too much. But the starters looked pretty good. Like I said, everybody was in the position that they're supposed to be in. They caught the ball when they were supposed to catch it. Fitzmagic looked pretty good. You can't expect too much out of the first game. My only thing was I was hoping they would get in and get out with no injuries. And that's what we did. That was important. I've seen a couple games over the last weekend, and it's players going down. So it's important to be able to get through the whole season without, actually preseason at least, without being injured and having people on IR before we even start the season. So, the rookies, some of them popped, some of them didn't. But like I said, it's the first game, everybody getting used to the speed of the NFL, such and such. So I wasn't impressed, but I wasn't depressed after the game either. So Hopkins got to straighten up. I mean, this dude, whatever. He's that close, man. He's that close to being out of a job. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I feel like overall the team came out and did what they were supposed to do. It wasn't a bad preseason game. I am one to go ahead and admit that I am super excited about everything. So I was a little bit shaken on certain things that I shouldn't have been. I realized that now as I've gone in a deeper dive and actually looked at it, because this is the first time my football team in a very long time on paper has been getting any kind of respect. We getting on commercials now. I mean, they actually
Mercedes Benzes.
Hey man, yeah. Listen, we're in a different place, man, and so I just wanted to see this wonderful, superb type situation, and it wasn't bad. But overall, if I was to grade it, I would give us a B-, because on defense, I did not like our angles, and the tackling was bad, and that was with first stringers. So, but we're going to get into that. So it's a perfect segue as we're going to keep this thing moving today. How about let's talk about our starters? And so we'll go offense, and we're going to start with Fitzmagic behind the center. Overall, I think let's just do this, fellas, to make it easy. We're going to do the grading system, and we're going to go, how would you rate A, B, C, or D, or E? Any of these players. So let's go with Fitzmagic.
I gave Fitz a strong B. I thought for opening first preseason game, that a new offense for him, just a new team. I know he's a vet, so he's been among 19 different teams, so right. He's used to this. But for another, 9. But for an opening preseason, he looked pretty sharp. Like he was pretty well prepared. He looked like he was moving through his progressions very well. Of course, he wasn't perfect. He made some mistakes, but for the most part, I gave him a B. That was my grade on him.
B-, somewhere around there. He did what he does. The only thing about Fitzmagic is that I'm concerned about, and I probably should. It's probably just his throwing motion. It looks like he's throwing the ball so hard to get it 5-6 yards down the field. You know what I mean? I'm talking about like on the outs. It's like he's putting all his body into it, man. He's leaning into it, and then hopefully he's just trying to throw it hard so he get there fast. But like he like his age might be catching up to him as far as his arm strength. But other than that, I mean, he did what he needed to do. We need him to be a manager, not a game winner. Keep him at being a manager, run the ball, pound the ball. That's what, and the offensive line looked a lot better too. But have him, hand the ball off in good places, and he did fine. Like I said, it's first preseason game. It's a vanilla offense right now, so we're not getting to the exotic routes and all that stuff. So he did what he needed to do. He stayed healthy, got off the field. It's all good. I give him a B-.
All right, and so this is our preseason podcasting right now. So this is where I would have went to Deacon and hit him in the helmet like, come on, man, we said we was going to talk one thing at a time, man. But let's lead into the offensive line, and let's just do this for the lack of time. Offensive line as a whole. So we're gonna look at the offense and the defensive line as a whole, and then we'll kind of individually talk about everybody else. So let's go offensive line as a whole. And by the way, if you care to know, I gave Fitzmagic a B as well. I thought that he did exactly what he was supposed to do, and it is preseason. So offensive line, gentlemen.
Well, just to, I guess I'm a little more critical on offensive line. It definitely looked better than last year, but I'm looking for big things from him. I thought that we're not going to break it down, but just as an overall, I'm going to give him a C+. And I talked about that later. There's a couple guys I want to talk about, but this is overall offensive line C+.
C+. All right.
C+. I gave him a B. I'm looking for progression. Like I said, it's first preseason game, but from where we were last year to this year, I mean, they kept the quarterbacks upright. Nobody got sacked. Had a few players had to get out the pocket, but that's normal. So the defense gets paid as well. But I wasn't impressed. But as long as the quarterback is standing up at the end of the play, I'm okay with that. That means that we had a chance. So it's all on the quarterback finding the right person. So I mean, there wasn't no holes in the middle. They opened up some holes for the running backs. Hey man, I was okay with it. Now I wasn't too aware of when they took out the starters and when they and had people coming in and out. Yeah. But I mean, even that, through the whole game, the line held up pretty good. I mean, of course, you're gonna have some players that do what they do, like Montez. But hey, listen, I give him a B.
Right?
Maybe I'm too happy about things, but
No. I'm with you on that. I think that the O-line has been this porous thing for so long. We were able to identify just 2 half decent players on the O-line in the last couple of years. So now by their performance, and it was a whole game performance, even when the guys who probably won't be playing in the NFL were in, they still performed as an O-line should. There was Montez was actually driving the ball. He was getting a couple of first downs. So that has the credit to the O-line. I gave him a B too. I'm in the coaching. So the coach of the O-line has done his job. And I know that when we open up the playbook, that Scott Turner is usually about this thick. It's going to be easy for the O-line to keep up. And so I'm giving him a B. So let's slide down on that O-line. We'll go ahead and identify the tight ends. And I know Big Al has done. What do we always do on DMV Sports 3, Big Al?
A deep dive, baby. I took a deep dive on the tight ends. I really studied them this week just for the preseason purposes.
Hold. Let me go first, Big Al. I don't want to go after the deep dive. I don't need that kind of pressure.
Smart man. Hey, look, you know when to put your hand up. Go.
Yeah. That's right. Tag me in first. Hey, with the tight ends, I thought most of them did pretty good. I saw Bates catch a ball, Sammis Reyes, a little juggling act, but he caught it. Hemingway looked okay. I think he's mostly a blocker anyway. But just as a unit, I wasn't sad about what their performance was. I don't know what to give them as far as a grade. I kind of lumped them in with the line, but if I had to, take them out as a unit, I said another B. I said everybody caught the ball. Everybody, they were part of the blocking system where, quarterback was standing up at the end of the play. I give him a B.
All right, well, let me go. That is a smart play by Coach Deacon there. Hey, look, playing tight end, both me and Deacon, he gave him a B. I say B minus. And I say that because our depth I'm concerned about. Hemingway did not impress at all. And the guy we picked up also
Ricky Seals-Jones or something.
Yeah, I expected more, and so that put me at B minus. Even with Sammis, I can see that how raw he is, and I can see where he can go. Big Al noticed when the guy hit Sammis. Sammis was like, "What was that? Who threw that piece of paper at me?" And that guy got carted off the field. Yeah. So we got ourselves a possible monster, and we're probably predicting him to make the practice squad this year. But if we got excited, think about it. Cam Sims took 2 years on the practice squad, and now he's in our slot. So who knows what can happen? And Logan Thomas having a bookend in his little extension here. So I give him a B minus. And so now, what you all been waiting for? That's what you're coming in. Hey, about my man Big Al. This is what we do. Go ahead, Big Al.
Well, I kind of agree with your fellas. I gave him a little B plus though. My grade was a little higher because of Sammis Reyes too. To be honest with you, because I wasn't expecting anything of Sammis Reyes. So then I did a little study on him. Out of all the tight ends, he was the most physical in blocking, which was surprising. His hand position was off. He doesn't know technique and nothing like that. But he's such a big presence, 6'7", 275 and strong. He was clocking people, just physically. I was surprised of him being physical. His pass catching needs some work. We know that. I really like Bates too, the rookie that we picked up. He was very physical. Hand placement was really good. He's 6'6". He's a big guy too, and he was pushing people off the line. He actually, I felt like, as being physical, he was, putting in his double teams are really good, and he caught a pass over the middle too, which I was surprised. Apparently, in college, he wasn't really a pass catching tight end. He ran pretty good route and caught a pass. And we know what our star player is going to do. He's an up-and-coming superstar.
He's a stud.
So, he's a former quarterback. His blocking has improved. His hand placement was good. He worked in unison with the tackle. I think his run block is getting a lot better from last year. So I gave him a B+. Taking a deep dive on him, I'm very excited about the tight ends, especially about the rookie, because it's so physical. We need that in the run game. A run game. The reason why I gave the offensive line a C, I felt like a run game wasn't as strong as it was supposed to be. The reason why is because New England was playing a vanilla defense. They wasn't doing anything exotic at all. So I felt like an offensive line they knew exactly where everybody was going to be at. And they should have been more physical and pushing them off the ball. And New England was battling. They got paid. And they was battling, just playing their regular vanilla defense. So, but the tight ends played well. I was pleasantly surprised. Reyes was a big surprise for me. And you're right. Hemingway and Seals Jones wasn't as. I thought they would have a chance to be that third tight end. I'm not so sure. It may be Reyes not on the practice squad. If Reyes keeps improving, he may be our third tight end.
Hold up.
Hey, those guys did not. Hemingway was okay in blocking. Ricky Seals Jones didn't look good at all. I don't know why they are pros. So you know what I'm saying. So maybe they were uncomfortable with the new scheme or something. But if Reyes could continually improve, and the coaches like him, that's another thing. It's political. They've been pumping him up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He may be our third tight end.
I think that's a stretch, Big Al. I think he needs a year on the practice squad just to get himself right. I mean, if Hemingway wasn't playing good, but you're not really counting on Hemingway right now. You're counting on.
Well, we need a third tight end.
We need a third. And that would be Hemingway. That would probably be Hemingway. But I'm just saying, it won't be Reyes. We can't count on Reyes right now. We have to have somebody who's solid.
I'm just saying that Hemingway and Ricky Seals Jones were the two weakest tight ends that we had in that.
So far. But I like what you said, Big Al. You said that those are pros. So maybe they just came out of there a little, rusty,
right?
Whatever. So it's not like they don't know what to do, as Samus doesn't. He doesn't know what to do, and so for him to be third, anything would shock me. I'm looking at Deacon like, come on, Deacon, I can see it in you, man.
Well, I'm gonna say right now, the film shows him is real raw. He has no hand placement, no technique, but he is muscling jokers off the line, pushing
which is
them
amazing.
back.
And so I do like that.
Back.
I love that when you broke that down, man. I hope everybody heard it. And this is why we have a deep dive, and it's so that we can see that, because I didn't see any of those things unless you go back and look at the tape, and that's what preseason is all about. It's about the tape. It's not even about the performance per se. They just want to see in certain situations what you're doing, which is the importance. And I hope tight end coach, you heard this. Again, this is where we're looking at you, sir. We have a project, but we also have to make sure, because tight ends are important when it comes to that run game. And definitely when we hit those third and shorts, if you have a decent tight end or two, and I would love for the Washington football team to go back to double tight set. You know what I'm saying? I'd be like, woo, those days we was kind of dominant on the offense.
We were dominant offensively. Run game.
Like, who do we check? And you put but the Big Al saying what he's saying, that situation slides over, and that lonely linebacker's in front of Logan Thomas. Well, you know what that is then.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So he's
a superstar. Logan Thomas is a developing superstar.
That's a problem. So with that being said, and I like the way we're going, and we want to keep this thing rolling, right? So we're going to go to the starting running back. We're just going to talk about the starting running back now. I know everybody wants to talk about the other, but that'll come up in the rookies.
What about?
Let's talk AG. I'm going to start this time. AG was healthy. I just loved the way he was moving. He wasn't hesitant. He was hitting the cuts. He was doing what he could with what the line was offering. The guy looked like he was ready to jump out of the field. I loved it. I'm excited to see that, because turf toe is a difficult injury to recover from. It could come back at any given moment. So I'm hoping they use him sparingly throughout the preseason, but he's a threat, y'all. And we got to have a threat in order to help Fitz get those balls down the field, man. That was me. I gave AG an A, period. He's just looking like what he's supposed to do. I didn't see any mistakes. Running back, A. Anybody else want to go? Let's go.
I checked out AG. I thought he picked up the blitz very well. They did do a simple blitz on him. He picked it up in the pass pro set. And he improved in the pass catching, coming out of the backfield, catching and passes.
Bonus.
Which was what we were looking for because he's a former receiver. So I thought AG, I agree with you, Trey Z. AG got an A from me.
Get an A from me too. I'll keep it simple. He did what he's supposed to do. He didn't fumble. He didn't drop the ball.
And he looked healthy. Like you said, he looked healthy.
Get through the hole. That's what you need to do. Give me some yards. Forward progress.
And let me go ahead and do this because though I'm going to be on the coaches, let me be fair. Shout out to Scott Turner for showing that he's going to be giving the ball through the air to our playmaker. So shout out to you, Mr. Turner.
It's just preseason though.
But it's coaching. And
see,
I'm seeing what he's doing. I like that. That's
what does Tracy say? He always is what?
Come on, Deacon. I'm gonna get it out of you this year.
So what?
Get it out of you.
What happened?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that was our starting running back. Let's go ahead and talk about our receivers who hit the field first. So we're gonna go as the receivers as a whole, and as you guys are talking about it, why don't you just throw in what you like? Our starters, I believe, the other day was, of course, we know Mr. McLaurin. Terry, scary is still scary.
Yeah.
Actually, your boy Humphreys did get a catch, so he's considered a starter. Whoever was playing, well, that's what I'm going to let me classify. Whoever was playing with Fitz was throwing the ball. So, we know what the wide receivers is a competition. So we're just going to say whoever was playing when Fitz was playing. So we know there was Humphreys. We know it was Terry. I believe I saw Sims out there.
Big Sims.
And Big Sims, Cam. And lastly, did Diame get out there? Or he waited until after?
He was out there too. They was flexing him in.
Okay. Yeah. Let's just go with those.
Let's just keep him as a rookie. We'll talk about Diame later.
All right, well, why don't you go ahead and break down the wide receivers then for yourself?
Now, well, I was happily impressed with Humphreys. He's obviously a professional. I mean, he did fall down on third down and then, stop the drive. But
first down,
it
was third down. But he got the first down before that, right?
Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter if he stopped the third down on the second one.
Well,
we got a punt.
He slipped.
Yeah, well, get your feet right.
New England got terrible feet.
He was fine. I liked him. Obviously, Scary Terry, he's doing Scary Terry things. Well, I won't. Well, he's not a rookie. So, Andre Carter, isn't that his name?
Yeah. DeAndre Carter.
DeAndre Carter.
His mama named him DeAndre.
Yeah, well, I call him Andre.
His mama named him Clay. I'ma call him Clay. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Way back.
He looked all right too. They was playing him a lot.
He looked very versatile. He can do a couple things.
Punt return. He was a receiver. Everything. So he did his job. He didn't look out of place. So I mean, as far as receivers go, it's hard to say. It's hard to say because you have to have the quarterback throw you the ball. So basically, what you're trying to do is watch how they run patterns. Are they open? And that kind of thing. So, and are they catching the ball when it actually comes to them? Because you can't throw the ball to everybody every play.
Absolutely.
So they look fine to me. I give him an A too. I give him an A. I enjoyed the game until, I won't say.
Yeah.
The Montez things.
We're gonna come back to that. Whatever. Big Al, why don't you go ahead, man?
Well, I'm a little bit more critical on my receivers. I want my receivers to be playmakers.
That's right.
I want them to break tackles and make long drives, short drives. So I didn't see anything explosive out of them. I saw Brown go deep, and he was open, and Heineke missed him. But I give them a strong B. I give them a strong B. I was a little concerned that Big Sims didn't seem to do any separation.
89.
Yeah, he seemed to be. Well, whoever was covering him was doing a good job of covering him. I saw Brown do some separation. I saw Scary Terry get some separation. I saw even Little Sims get some separation. But I didn't see Big Sims get a lot of separation. He's more of a jump ball guy. I know he's a big receiver, but
he was getting jammed up the line.
He's jamming the line, a lot of jamming. He did some great job blocking, though. I was watching his blocking during the run game. And Scary Terry was doing some really good job blocking too, believe it or not, for a little guy. I mean, he blocks very well. So I give him a strong B.
All right, strong B from Big Al. And as the wide receivers, I was going to say, and I already said it, so I'm just going to co-sign on the fact that, it's not always about catching the ball. If we're going to play, and I hope Scott Turner is listening, I mean, sometimes you got to scheme people open. When he was here, Deshaun Jackson, man, he only got like 2 or 3 passes a game because his whole job was to shoot upfield and take two players out of the play, and so that we can get somebody under, because he was a threat like that. And if somebody played around and said, "Oh, you just gonna run again," then your boy was supposed to throw it up there. So running crisp and right routes is supposed to get people open. That pass from Fitzmagic to our tight end, he threw him open. He knew that man was checked, but Fitz knew to put it on the back shoulder so that he could turn around and catch that ball, goes to the sideline. That's what we're looking for. So the wide receivers, as we always used to have an issue with, they looked like they ran the right routes. I didn't see confusion out there like we saw last year starting off. And it was a very, everybody seemed to know where they were supposed to go. I think he got robbed, but even AGG in that route looked like he knew what he was doing, and he was a questionable person last year. Overall, you got Terry. I was a little upset because I was like, all I'm seeing is Terry. I thought I would see more wide receivers open, because everybody knows when Terry get the ball, he's going to get. But he was kind of doing his thing. But I forgot that he's a playmaker. It's kind of like Scary Terry kind of reminded me of Larry Fitzgerald. Larry Fitzgerald get on the field. Everybody knows that it's probably going to go to him, and maybe anybody else. And he would somehow find a way to get open, and he would catch like 90 balls a game. So I'm looking at Terry to do that with Fitz. Fitz has already made that connection. But we're going to need the big player. We're going to need big man to use his physicality. I'm talking to you, Cam Sims. You're going to have to do something. If you can't get open, you're going to have to do something, man. You can't take up space. DeAndre Carter has played in that slot before. And I know Humphreys is very comfortable with Fitz too, though he's not as fast. But if everybody is running their routes and continue to do that effectively, Humphreys is going to be schemed open too. So again, I would say A-. I'm going to say A-. I'm going to go that route with the receivers going into preseason. And I'm being very light on a lot of things. I'm kind of lumping it all in. I didn't see a whole lot of drop passes. If the ball was thrown, it was either broken up or just, out of reach, but not just drops. And that's what we saw a lot. We saw the drop seas in the last couple of games. I didn't see the drop seas. That means that, everybody's getting in front of, and
jug machine.
Yeah, that jug machine is getting used. I hope and pray that it continues to get used. So I give them an A-. And it looks like, with that being said, I'm going to do this and throw this in here. So before we go to defense, special teams, field goal kicking crew. We know the whole D-Hop fiasco. He's exploded on social media, and not in a good way. I'm talking about people are literally pitchforks and torches for D-Hop. But I was listening to Joe Theismann during the game, and he said something. You have Treshway, the holder, Cheeseman, the long snapper. It's a combination. And when I think B-Hop missed his second or third field goal or whatever it was, Theismann goes, yeah, you see how they're talking right there? The kicker is asking, just like when Mosley used to ask me how to hold that ball. And Mosley was more precise. He saved a lot. Hey, that whole 83 Super Bowl was Mosley. You know, literally, I think he was 100% every time he kicked the ball. So there's a way that those guys want to do it. And I'm not taking anything away from the fact that I was rooting for D-Hop all off season because I know how important it is. I even said that when we were talking with Rio and Sanchez about if we have one player that's going to make a difference, it's Hopkins. And so if it's time to get rid of him, it's time to get rid of him. I gave that whole crew, so I'm talking all that up, so I'm going to give that whole crew a D. It was horrible. I mean, Cheeseman got the ball to the holder put it down, but if that ball don't go through, that's 2 grades down. And that's just what it is, because the game would have been different if we made those field goals, am I right? So that's 9 points left on the field.
Yeah. Well, I'm in agreement with you. I don't even want to talk about the preseason special teams, man. I'm looking.
We got to, man. It's going to be important, Big Al.
I mean,
it's going to be important.
my grade is a D. I'm looking for a punt returner and kick returner, and I want them. And I heard the coach even talk about this in the future, upcoming preseason games. And let's try Patterson back there catching punts and kickoffs. And the reason why I say this is that we need some explosion.
Yeah.
We need some playmaking ability. I believe that Andre Carter possibly can be that kind of guy. But he used to do it for Texas. The Texans wouldn't let him go.
Hey, Deacon. Can I get a flag?
Go ahead.
Hey, man.
Did he just over the question?
Man,
this dude just said, hey, man, F that. I'm going to talk about
technically that's special team.
That's special teams.
But no, I made it very clear and specific that I was talking about these guys. And I wanted, come on, man. Greg Hopkins.
The special teams got a D.
And his crew.
D-Hop missed the kick. I don't care what else happened. D-Hop missed the kick. Anytime you make a mistake on special teams, any kind of mistake, if you miss the kick or you drop a punt or the snap is bad, then your grade level goes down too low. That's all your one job is, to do those 10 plays in the game. And if any of those 10 plays go bad, you dropping down to a D.
Hey, Al, you know
what? 2 of them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you know what? They was talking about that. A lot of people were also saying that. Shout out to Twitter. They was like, because, you know, again, Theismann was like, hey, man, you know, they're going to work on that through preseason. And they was like, hey, what were they doing during training camp? Why were these guys not sitting there all day long, snapping, holding, and kicking? Snapping, holding, and kicking. All day long. And then maybe they'll do a 7-on-7, and guess what they're doing? Snapping, holding, and kicking. And somebody throwing, doing blah, 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 or something. So I hear you. So I just wanted to hear that. I wanted that energy. Thank you, Deacon.
All right.
Can you stay on with this play? I'll call this play. I know you don't want to run it. I'll call it audible real quick. I was like, it ain't gonna work. On me.
I hear what you're saying, Trey, with the Theismann interview. I saw that too. But my first thing was. From the beginning, I give him an F. I give him an F. You can't miss more than you make. Mm-hmm. You get fired from that. Anybody else gets fired. You know, you can't keep doing that. As far as, I mean, Cheeseman got the ball to the holder, so I'm not worried about Cheeseman.
It didn't fly over his head. He did his job. Right.
I don't know what it is with the holder and the kicker, but it's the same 2 dudes that were doing it last year. So what do they need practice for?
Preach.
Come on now, they should be in sync by now. And they was missing last year. I don't want to see the kicker and the holder talking after a kick, because that means that nobody knows what's going on. One guy's asking this question, he's saying, "Well, I thought you wanted it this way." Mm-hmm. So that's F. So
I have that,
and he's this close to being unemployed.
It looks like it.
So,
I'm waiting
really
on
need competition. They need competition.
I think the fans are waiting on to hear about. We have a new kicker in the camp, and there's a competition.
You got to. At this point, you have to. I mean, he gave him all last year. He straightened up last year, but I think we lost a couple of games by him missing field goals.
I'm sorry, we lose most of our games. Now, if you look at it for the last 3 years, a lot of our games come down to a field goal. Man, we're always in it. I think even last year, the only game we got blown out was the Rams game. Every game we played, we was always in it with, the one-legged quarterback and a makeshift offensive line. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say the most important player, if we're going to go defense and be a defensive team, we need special teams to be solid.
It's also like they say in boxing, don't leave it up to the refs.
That's right.
We can't leave it up to the kicker
at all times.
We can't leave it up to the kicker.
That's right. Hey, well, look, let's go keep this moving, man, because we got to keep it moving. Got a lot more things to talk about. And by now, if you guys have been with us, and I know you just as excited, please make sure you take that excited finger and hit the like button. It does wonders for us, man, so that we can keep bringing you the content and share it out to more people so they can see this, what we do. And so
we can continue to have fun.
Yeah, because this is fun for us. And let's do this, fellas. Let's do defense, and we're going to do defense by position, so you can kind of talk about everybody so that we know. So we're going to start with the ultimate, the dominant defensive line. Let's go. Who wants to go first? I'll do it. Defensive line is an A. It's always going to be an A. For me right now, it's going to take a lot for it not to be an A. And I want, and this is what somebody said, and it hit me. I was like, wow, Matt Ioannidis is the second string defensive line. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. You hear what I just said? Anywhere USA, he started. And so when I say we have defensive line depth, Sweat wasn't even there. They were still making plays. I don't. Okay, I'm getting excited. Hey, I'm just going to say that because I was getting excited. I was about to say something totally off the wall. But A.
Well, Ioannidis wasn't even playing. So Ioannidis and Sweat weren't at the game. They didn't get to play. And the defense held up for the most part. I saw some runs I didn't like, some holes I didn't like, but I give the line a B. Chase Young came in and did what he did. They should have took him out as soon as he sacked Cam Newton.
Yeah,
take him out of the game. He obviously he doesn't need to practice right now. Sweat wasn't in the game, so you had time for the new guys to make a mark, and I didn't really see that. I expected a little more out of the two new guys, William Bradley King and Shaka Toney. It was another dude who made a sack. It wasn't even them two. But as far as a unit, man, look, we're looking forward to the first game of the season. And you kind of trying to project where we're going to be in the next two games going into the first game of the season.
Correct.
And like I said, nobody got hurt. They put some pressure on the quarterbacks. They closed some holes. They had some holes open, stuff that we need to work on. But that's what preseason is for. So I'm giving them a B. But I see that, the defense, and actually Jackson didn't play either, right? The cornerback?
Yeah, he played like the first two series.
Did he?
Yeah, but we're not all cornerbacks, man. Come on,
No. I'm just talking. I was just talking about the defense as a whole. But
I said, don't do that. Follow the play.
As far as the line, man, I give him a B.
Thank you.
All right, the D line, I gave a B to. It's a B, Tracy.
No, it's an A.
I agree with the Deacon. I was looking for
smart man.
I agree with the Deacon. I was looking for second teamers and third stringers to make plays to add to what we already had. And I'm also looking for no injuries. So I gave him a B because there was no injuries. But I didn't see the second and third teamers or people that's on the fringe of making a team like Shaka Toney and all them making plays behind the line of scrimmage. That's what I don't care. You make a tackle 5 yards the other way, that doesn't make anything for me. So I gave them a B for no injuries, and we all know what the superstar is going to do. So he needs to sit down. So I give him a B. And hopefully we can get some third stringers or some second, somebody to challenge for the second team. You know what I'm saying? Challenge. That's what I'm looking for. Shaka Tony, one of these guys got to show me something. They didn't show me much against New England. So I was a little disappointed with that one. But it's the first preseason, so hopefully they got 2 more. They got time.
Right. And I think that for clarification, I was initially just talking about the starters like we did before. So if we talk of starters, I felt good. But I did say as a position. So yeah, I agree with both of you guys that we're looking at the whole position because we do want to see that same kind of energy coming out of there with the backups. And yeah, they got to step up, you know, because you're backing up some greats, man. So iron sharpens iron, as we say here. You know, they got to, you know, pick up everything they could pick up on and bring that heat because we don't want any letdown when our starters get gassed and got to go out, you know, and Lord forbid any injury. We don't want somebody coming in to back these guys up who are not going to penetrate or not do anything. That's the strength of our defense right now. So let's go to what I will start off with, the linebackers. And so since I'm correcting myself, we'll talk all linebackers. I'm giving the linebackers a B-. I'm giving the linebackers a B- because I saw our starters even struggle. And I say struggle on the level of, okay, we got Jamin Davis. He was playing the middle linebacker. He's got a lot of work to do. He's got to, you know, pick up on the new speed of the game, you know, number one. Nerves was definitely playing a part. I'm telling you, number two, he's probably not trying to make a mistake. You know what I'm saying? The guy, we know he's athletic. Holcomb, you know, he's had some experience now. You know, he was playing a little more comfortable and was pretty much looking like the shining light on our linebacker core, the starters. And then Bostic, as I saw a terrible angle and missed tackle by Mr. Bostic, who is a vet, you know, in all regards. So, and I don't know what our buddy out of Texas was seeing on his screen. If you didn't watch our live show, he thought Bostic was doing great things. And I was like, I was looking for that, but I didn't do a deep dive like Al either. But then when you immediately went second string, when anybody broke past the defensive line, it was just a free-for-all. I saw a lot of people flying around. I thought that I was going to see more everybody to the ball. I saw that, unfortunately, for New England. It was everybody to the ball type thing. Those individuals were getting there. We were kind of all over the place and looked like we were desperately trying to tackle people. And it's funny because last year we were in that category too. Our tackling was horrible in the beginning of the year, but it grew to a point where we was busting people. So again, it's first preseason game. They got a lot of work on the linebackers. So overall, for the linebackers, I give them a C.
Yeah, I agree with you, Trey Z. I gave him a C+. And you know, the young guy was playing, you know, hesitant, like you said. And Holcomb probably was our best linebacker. I want to give a shout out to Hudson on the second team. I saw him make some plays, at least at the line of scrimmage, and he was doing some good job covering and stuff like that. So I felt like Hudson probably outplayed Bostic on the second team or the third team. I don't know, the second or third team he played, and I'm hoping that he made a move, you know, to move up the depth chart. I thought. Besides that, C+.
C+.
Yeah, I give him a C. Bostic is disappointing, but that's always. We just expect that out of him. He's going to do what he does. He's working with what he got, and that's not enough for us right now. Jamin Davis looked okay. You know, as a rookie, it's hard, especially the first game, man. You're hard to trust yourself. You're trying not to make mistakes. You're a little nervous, and you sometimes you don't trust your eyes and your instincts. But like I said, Hudson looked pretty good. He was all over the place. That's the one thing I like about him. He was around the ball a lot, whether it was tackling or whatever. You saw 47 flashing all over the place. Holcomb, whatever. You know. So I give him a C. Nobody really stepped up to be like, you know, now we got somebody that's going to close some holes. You know, now we got somebody who's going to put some pressure and blitzing. Of course, I don't think we blitzed a lot anyway. But the point is, that, you know, you like I said, we always try to project as to where we're going to be game one, and with the vanilla defense that we were playing, we got gashed a couple times, and they got to really step that up, because we're not the only one playing vanilla. They were playing vanilla offense.
That's right.
So, you know, let's tighten that up, and I hope that.
But the tackling was not good at all, Deacon.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. But then, like you said, we kind of, you know, this is the first game, the first live action against somebody else. Basically, what you're trying to do is put something on tape so they can watch, so we can get them in the film room, watch their mistakes, watch what they're doing, and game two is going to really tell if they are learning, if they're progressing or not. This game was basically to get something on tape, get everybody off the field healthy, and get into practice. So, C.
All right.
C. I see a C.
Let's slide right into cornerbacks. Cornerbacks. All right. Cornerbacks. Anybody want to go first on cornerbacks?
I mean, I thought that the rookie play. Well, we're not talking about rookies, but this as a whole, they was, you know, C+, B. I would say I give them a B. I didn't see no glaring mistakes. Everybody's in the right position. If they were playing zone, they play zone. If they play man, they play man. If they play, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
Except it broke it down to fundamentals. They just couldn't tackle. You know what I'm saying?
They get a C+ or a B. Like you said, the tackling was terrible, but they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, that's funny. I mean, it's true though. It's true though. Like I said, you're trying to get something on tape. So, do you know where to line up is very important. You know, that has to come first.
It's a little crucial.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm saying?
That has to come first. So, like I said, they were. I wasn't impressed. I mean, I don't really take knowledge of what the first game is. So, but nobody got burnt deep. I mean, one they missed them, but nobody except for that last run for a touchdown, nobody really got taken deep.
That last run for a touchdown in my category could knock the whole entire defensive squad down one grade up. That was just bad. But anyway, y'all didn't want to talk about it on the live show, so I'm not going to talk about it right now.
Well, we talked about it. We talked about it by not talking about it.
Kind of. All right, so Deacon gave him Big Al gave a B. What was your grade, Deacon? I didn't remember.
I don't know. B minus C.
B minus C. That's Deacon giving, he busting the curve up. I'm gonna go with the B minus. All right, and I'm gonna say compared to last year, again, it's an improvement. Shout out to the cornerback coach. They do, you know, and I know everybody's laughing to a certain degree. We're sitting here talking about them just being in the right position. That was huge. You know? So I mean,
they tied their shoes right.
Yeah, look, everybody was, their mouthpiece was in the mouth, you know, not hanging in the back and nothing like that. Everybody knew what they was doing. It was professional out there. I'm gonna give them a B minus. I give them a B minus. You know, when you get up or you move, if you don't drive the running back back into the fray, I expect you to tackle. You know, and you just missing and whiffing, and the running back is like, oh man, this is high school. That's terrible. You know what I'm saying? So a little more domination. I'm giving them a B minus because and this is without doing a deep dive, but it was okay. Now, with that being said, we'll finish up with the defense with our safeties. And I know that's kind of could be considered cornerback, but I was saying that just specifically with our safety, because that's like one of our best and most competition. In our live show, Big Al brought up the fact that DeShazier Everett, who I felt honestly was the one individual that turned the tide last year when it came to our defense. When he hit the field and started to deliver those blows and had those other receivers on the other side looking over their shoulder because it's like, where is he at? That changed the dynamic of our defense. And it also was infectious. To see that he is not necessarily getting the play, nobody's talking about him. I'm concerned about that. Maybe he lost a step. I wasn't at training camp. I like that curl. And I'm hearing Collins is doing great thing. I tried to watch him. It's funny because I don't know what was going on. I just really couldn't see the field as easy as I thought I was during the game. Maybe it was the excitement, so I couldn't focus on when I saw Collins in the game, but I didn't hear anything bad about him. And so we're kind of saying the same thing about the cornerbacks. I'm going to go ahead and give the safeties a B too. I didn't, like I said, there was nobody running behind no Apke chase downs. You know what I'm saying? And I think even Big Al said he saw Apke lay the wood to somebody. I don't know. So I think that's just, everybody knows, the Washington football team knows, the fans know, and especially those positional players who play safety know that this is a battle, the biggest battle we have as far as I'm concerned. There were so many new numbers and everything like that. So I was trying to pick up where Forrest was and how he looked. That's one of our drafts, right? We'll talk about him later. But all in all, B. Anybody else want to talk safety?
I mean, just looking at the second, I watched the game twice, looking at the game second time, again, they all lined up in the right position.
Right positions. Right.
They knew what defense they was in. They seemed to be, in the general area when they were playing zone, they were playing man, they played man. But nobody, okay, look, preseason first game. Okay, so if you're trying to make the team or you're trying to be a playmaker for the San Diego game, which is the first game of the year, I didn't see anybody make a challenge or a move towards that. You know what I'm saying? They were just very vanilla. Everybody seemed to be, they didn't tackle well. I would say that. I seen some missed tackles from the safeties too. But the transition from with Collins and what's the guy's name that played with Collins?
Cam Curl.
Cam Curl played free safety this game. He normally plays strong, and he did a good job. He was in the right position. You know what I'm saying?
I saw that too.
He didn't do anything special, but he was where he was supposed to be at. He wasn't chasing like Happy last year. So I would give them C+, B. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't make no plays. They didn't pop at me. Then nothing popped.
Yeah. Well, I'll give him a B, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with them not popping, because if they're not popping, that means that in front of them they're making the plays.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, nobody. The worst thing for a safety is to get beat deep, and nobody did that. So as long as they're covering up for the cornerbacks and not letting receivers go deep on them, that's what they're supposed to do. I mean, Cam Curl played, like say, free safety, and that's what they wanted to play next to Collins. But hey, listen, they are rolling themselves into first game mode, and they started Collins, which I was surprised over. What's the guy we picked up from Miami? Whatever his name is. Yeah. I forget.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, and I was surprised about that because Collins coming off of an injury, but like he was saying in his interviews before the game, he's all healthy now. He feels healthy. He's in shape. So he's getting paid a lot of money.
And he got a chip on his shoulder because everybody was counting him out. So I like that. I like when people come in with something to prove.
Bobby McCain, you talking about, right?
Bobby McCain.
That's right.
So,
Bobby McCain.
I give him a B.
Well, all right. We just went through the starters of our preseason game one. And so we're going to slide into this segment. We're going to talk rookies. And again, because of time, we don't want to keep them too long, fellas. Let's talk offensive rookies, but instead of going down the list and grading, how about you guys just say your offensive rookie standout of the game? How about that?
I know I'm gonna start first, and I'm not gonna take the obvious choice. So we know who the obvious choice is. My offensive rookie was Sammis Reeves. I mean, I was just so surprised. I did a deep dive on the tight ends. I had no hopes at all for him. I really didn't think that as soon as somebody tackled him or hit him, that he would be out of the game and we would never see him again. And the fact that he came from such a long ways. I was listening to one of the old tight ends that was doing some personal training with him off season. Logan Thomas, not Logan, what's the guy? There was an old tight end who used to play with Chris Cooley. It was Chris Cooley's backup. He does training with the tight ends, and he took this guy from nothing, and he was out there competing. He was physical. He was running the routes correctly. They got to get his hands together, I think. But the fact that he was physical and out there, this man never played football. You know what I'm saying? Now he's playing professional football.
Right.
That's a big jump, man. To me, he was my offensive rookie. He was my offensive rookie of the game for me.
Al, go ahead and shout out who we all know was the main guy. We're good. So to the point, everybody know. You want to say it together, gentlemen? On 3, 1, 2. Patterson.
Waterbug.
Everybody.
The Waterbug.
The Waterbug.
So,
affectionately given, except in case Patterson is watching, affectionately given here at DMV. Because if you ever see a Waterbug, it just skeets on the water so light, so fast, so quick. You know, you just don't even know if it's there or not. And that's what he did. When he got on the field, it was like, he got the ball. Oh, he's 5 yards down the field already. It was amazing. Awesome. So we give him a shout out right now. We don't have to go any deeper. I think the whole entire Washington football fan base and even the coaches are like, what we gonna do? This guy, you know, so we all got that. So Deacon, he's the default guy. We know that. But outside of him,
and I like Reyes. And Reyes, I think, was pretty good only because of
we doubling down on Reyes?
No, not double down. I'm just saying I like Al's pick because, you know, not only is it his first game, but he did a couple things in it as well. Yeah. So I don't think he's the player of the game. I'm just saying he did a good job, and it's surprisingly a good job. Mine would be Cosmi. Sam Cosmi. The man stood up, blocked on the end. Nobody got to the quarterback. That's all you need. Left tackle was very important. Him and Sadiq Charles held it down over there. So and Sadiq Charles is basically a rookie. He played one game last year for one play. So
a bonus rookie.
Yeah. And I love it. I mean, that's like a free draft pick this year. You know? So he's playing all over the line. So I would say Cosmi. I would say Cosmi, man, did a good job, and he showed that he might be starting this year in the right side. I'm not sure on the left side, but he's definitely going to be on the starting lineup.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with just to be different. I'm gonna go with Mr. Brown, Diame, of course. I don't think anybody had any doubt that he was going to do his thing. He got out there and did his thing. You know, this guy looks professional already. I mean, to go out and get somebody in the draft like that to go ahead and start, you know, I think that he's going to be the next receiver after Terry. Literally that your boy is going to be looking for. Magic is going to be looking for. This guy right here is going to be. He's so confident. I watched him, you know, a little bit. He's just
confident.
Yeah, he's gonna get it to him. So he's out there playing like, this is what I do. And so I like that in a rookie, you know, because receivers, you know, that's a special, you know, what they call it, a specialty position, you know, whatever. You got a lot of tricks of the trade you got to learn and this and that, and just being out there when that ball is coming to you, man. You normally have these nice and tender hands, and then they like bricks when you're nervous, you know, and stuff like that. And so, you know, I think Mr. De'Ami Brown is so far a come up, you know, and this is what he's going to be important depending on how long Curtis Samuels is out.
Yeah.
And so
he's gonna be ready first game.
I hope.
Hope so.
But at the same time, don't want to rush him. And then he's out for 4 or 5 games. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
So I'd rather, if he has to wait 2 games, I'm confident that Mr. Brown could fill in and do his thing. And so I give it to Mr. Brown. And so real quick, if you stay with me, fellas, I'm going to do a little disaggregation of the data. But do we have to mention or break down defensive rookies? Because we kind of, just going on their grades, do we really need to say anything?
Nobody really popped on defense.
Nobody popped. I thought St. Jude did a great job, but
they didn't get burnt.
I think everybody agrees with St. Jude was probably the only one. And again, when it comes to positions on defense, it's a little different grade. You know, it's 50-50. It's an island. You know what I'm saying? And so if you don't see nobody falling down or trying to chase somebody or getting toasted, then that's a great game. Matter of fact, Darrell Green was an ultimate one of my favorite, if not the best cornerback ever. Because nobody talked about him. Why? Because he shut everybody down. You know what I'm saying? You didn't hear Darrell Green, unless he was returning punts and then he was scoring. But outside of that, he was like, "Hey man, we can't even throw on that side."
Well, I do want to go back to Patterson real quick before we get off the rookies.
Yeah, all right, let's do that.
I heard that the coach talk about Patterson on the interview after the game, and he's looking to expand his role. You heard me talk about when we talked with special teams.
Yeah, you're right.
Talk about Darren Sproles. He brought the name up Darren Sproles as he was talking, and Darren Sproles played special teams, and he was that third down or that running back that came on and gave you that excitement and that, and fit, you know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, Patterson is now in the coach's mind of doing different things that he originally had planned on. That means that other people may be on the cut list that wasn't on the cut list. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because Patterson showed so much in that one game. Now we probably can't put him on the practice squad now.
No, we can't.
So now, and like I said, the coach put up the name Darren Sproles, which I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That means the coach is like in his mind thinking of different things to do with this dude.
Right. Yeah. And we'll just talk about one thing I want to say. I just a little shout out to Dax Milne when he caught that punt. He was very confident. He looked he went upfield. I think Al said last year, I just want somebody to fall forward, you know what I'm saying, and catch the ball. That's how bad it was. Yeah. I think he met the expectation. He caught the ball. He went north and got a couple yards and held on to it. I was like, oh man, this guy looked like I didn't see any nerves. Just a shout out to that. So let me disaggregate a little data here, fellas.
I think he's going to be on practice squad.
That yes, and I believe so too, that we kind of do it. If you really want to look at it, if I'm looking at it right now, offensively, as we graded, the lowest grade was special teams of the kicking crew. We knew that. But overall, if it was a little surprise, it looks like our O-line probably got the lowest grade based on Al C+, but he's looking for more things. Funny that defensively, we kind of still talking about the same thing. And if you're looking at preseason and you're looking at last year, our glaring hole in defense was what? Linebackers. And we pretty much got a grade of C from all of us. So right now, preseason game 1, we're not getting too, far ahead of things. We're very excited and passionate about our team, but we're not quite sure. A little improvement because if you looked at it last year, it was a solid D, but it's a little improvement, but we're not necessarily seeing yet. And, but we have hope. We know we got an athlete back there. We got an old man and we got a middle man, the guy right in the middle. So, and maybe what Mr. Deacon said and he brought up, which wasn't on the list for me, but he is now Mr. Hudson, might be able to knock one of those guys off that starting tier. You never know. All right,
we're counting on the rookie in the middle to come up fast, right. And that's always touchy.
Fast. So, that's true.
We'll see.
That's true. So, DMV Sports 3 fans and DMV Sports 3 new listeners, thank you for being here today. We're about to shift a little bit. Subscribe. Wizards. The Wizards is a new, somewhat improved, people would say. As a matter of fact, I believe it was, I don't know if it was the NBA or ESPN had us as the number 1 top tier in trades and free agency. That was trending around Twitter for a little bit. That was also a little while ago, Big Al. And things change overnight. Things, get to a point where, people are still making moves. But overall, we have a new squad. We have a new coach. We have a new fever for the Wizards. One thing about NBA, rebuilding doesn't take that long, as you can see. And so the last year's squad doesn't exist. I mean, it's a whole nother thing. And so we're going to look a little bit into that.
Yeah, before you go into that, Trey, let me say thank everybody for wishing and praying for a new coach. It finally happened for us.
Y'all.
It finally happened. And let's go forward Let's make some noise. Let's make some noise, man. Let's make some noise.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Unseld Jr., make sure you got to put that JR on the end because, we have a legend here in Washington, Mr. Wes Unseld. But his son now, who takes the reins as a coach, has brought in all of his cronies, or if you want to call them assistant coaches. So that house has been cleaned out. Listen, It's a new beginning for real.
Yeah.
Washington as a whole, we're now going into our sophomore season with the football team. We got a whole new basketball squad, and not to mention the burn down, and it's hard to watch, of our Nats with all the baby Nats on there now, struggling to get a win. But it's just the beginning of something big. We know it later on, but you got to buckle up. But let's go, man. How y'all feel about our new Washington Wizards here? These young men seem eager. We got some folks on the squad, y'all, man.
Yeah,
All stars. What's up? What's up?
Well, one thing we know, the Afro was in, baby. The Afro was in. Got to put no Jericho juice in it, baby.
I try to get
The Afro was in, baby. But hopefully we can be better defensively. Montage Harrell,
all-star,
Holiday, all of those guys are defensive players. We got a little bit better defense. We'll see. Kuzma's a gunner. We know that. We got a whole bunch of forwards and a whole bunch of defensive players. So I think we're going to be much better defensively. I think that's most definitely we're going to be much better defensively.
Yeah.
And hopefully by that we can get some transition baskets. You know what I'm saying? That's the key. And we can make it a little bit easier for Bradley Beal, because Bradley's going to get his. He's going to get his. He'll get his 30.
And this is the guy that's going to be feeding him the rock.
Right.
Dinwiddle, right there. I think that
he looked healthy too. He looked healthy. That was good.
All these guys right now take good pictures. They look like basketball players. They seem to like each other right now. You know what I'm saying? So chemistry is going to be important because chemistry fosters synergy.
Yeah.
And so we have some chemistry on and off the court. That's one of the things that surprisingly so shout out to Russell Westbrooks, who I had a very negative feeling coming in here because his press was bad. But ultimately, he got us to the playoffs with that synergy and that development with Mr. Beal. And so I'm hoping that these guys do the same with Beal and the current players that we still have here. I like our center position. What's the word on the gentleman who got hurt, Mr.
Bryant?
Bryant.
Yeah,
Bryant.
He's working back into shape.
Yeah, man, that'd be nice, man. But Gafford right now, we talked about the Gaffords, and I'm looking for him. I'm waiting for you to put them out.
Oh, that was the Hutchinsons, man.
No.
Hutchinson. We lost my man Hutchinson.
We talked about Gafford too until he shut us up.
Is Hutchinson still
Hutchinson?
Nah, they traded him. They traded him for Dinwiddie. I think he was in the Dinwiddie trade.
Now, the Hutchinson's shoes, I think they done relegated him to slides now. He stayed on the bench.
Is the Lakers still
might as well be country.
Bertans?
Yeah, I think Bertans is still here right now, correct?
Yeah, we still got Bertans.
Okay, well, hopefully, like I said,
crowd
defense
favorite.
Hey, Caldwell Pope said he grew up with Bradley Beal, played in his AAU team. Already has a chemistry with him. The new point guard is a good friend of Bradley Beal's. Apparently, they hang out, blah blah. So hopefully they
which tells you they are trying to keep Bradley Beal happy.
Right. So they got people that Bradley works out with in the summertime in California. A lot of them go out to California and work out.
Wouldn't you? Sure.
Right.
We need to stay around here.
So hopefully we keeping Bradley happy. Hopefully we get him extension to his deal, and hope we building a defensive team that can put some points up, that can compete against the 76ers and the new look Knicks and the Boston Celtics. And Miami got better, and then we also got to go through the guy up in the Greek Freak. That's the champion.
Hey man, what about
they didn't really do
Nets,
too much,
man? What about the Nets, man? I mean, this
we
guy.
We would beat the Nets. Of course, they wasn't full strength.
Yeah, about to say the hero right now, and undoubtedly the I think right now overall they got your boy after he got his gold medal, Mr. Durant, who pretty much put the Olympic team on his shoulders to bring home that gold. They got him second to Giannis as far as the best in the league, which is shockingly because he was really the question if he was better than LeBron. But LeBron is coming in an easy third now. It's things are changing, man.
Well, he's old.
Age does that, age does that. But here's where that conversation is going to come up, and I know it already is that can you now look at Jordan, who was always old? It seemed like Jordan came in the league old, or whatever, the old spirit or whatever like that, or old soul as they say. But Jordan played well into. I mean, he was a wizard. Everybody don't want to talk about that, but
he was in his 40s.
Hey man, Jordan in his 40s is putting up 30 points a game.
Easy. Yeah. So when you talk old, and then you talk about the greatest of all time, and we and I hate it for LeBron because he's still a phenom. And so for you to cast him aside because he's just not, windmill dunking and all that stuff like that, I'm like, nah, he's still great.
It's a different game.
Yeah, but it is. Yeah, it's a different game from the eras, yes. Mm-hmm. But like I said, Big Al, Jordan plays 41 years old for the Wizards. And
Jordan has the most games played per season, average. I think he played all 82 games like 9 times. LeBron played once.
Incredible.
Wow.
That's incredible. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the famous one game when he was sick, that was always, I was like, man, you flopping. You ain't sick.
Well, yeah. So, and listen, as far as I was about to go into the Wizards, man. And look, I was for the trade for Westbrook and Wall. I felt that was a good trade. It worked out for us. We got into the playoffs. We hadn't been there in a while,
a long time.
He was obviously the driving force as well. I mean, his mastery of the triple double was incredible.
Right.
I mean, this dude was punishing people.
That's right.
But he had a flaw, which was defense and free throws. We couldn't count on the free throws, and he was 50-50 from shooting. So, listen, I liked Westbrook. I would have had no problem keeping him. But when we traded him to LA, I was happy that we got back something of value.
Yeah.
What we got back in value mostly was Octavius Caldwell-Pope and Montrezl Harrell. And Montrezl Harrell is the main one because he's aggressively on defense. We need some anger. We got a lot of nice dudes. Montrezl Harrell is an aggressive player.
Right.
We need that. Right. So I was looking for them to trade Kuzma and Pope for one more good player.
They might do that too.
They may, but right now I just want them to stay pat. I want them to stay where they are because sometimes you do too much, and then you lose the ability to come together because everybody's so many people going in and out.
Everybody's on the chopping block, right?
These guys are practicing already together, trying to build chemistry.
Right.
So let's just stay here. Let's see if Kuzma's going to do anything. He has the potential. He's been a disappointment, but then there's a lot of players who play with LeBron who have been disappointments and gone somewhere else and been better. So we don't know what Kuzma is going to be this year. We don't. I think Pope is going to be fine. He's a steady player. He's a bench player, but he comes in and he's steady. He's not going to lose you a game for not knowing how to play defense or jacking up shots that aren't, his shots. So I want them to stay steady right now. Play what we got. I mean, something falls in our hands, of course, but don't count on.
So Deacon, call Anthony Towns fall in my hands. We shouldn't.
Come on, stop it.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
Now you're just being a funny guy now.
Hey. No, man, this is an intellectual conversation.
We always got the jokey jokes.
Sometimes we just got to ask those hard questions. Hey, but the funny thing is, man, you brought up playing with LeBron, man, and this is weird. The talk of the town was the Schroeder turning down $80 million
for
4 years, like it was like $20 million, and now you got 1 year for $5. And man, when I tell you, boy, he's catching it, man. So
You can't beat Twitter. You can't beat the internet.
No, the internet is undefeated, brother.
All day long.
Undefeated, and they're killing them. But it goes to show you, man, that sometimes like when Deacon was talking about stay pat, that's what made me reminded me. I was like, bing, yep. I know he's gonna have to play that whole year. Oh man, and I just know the fans are gonna give it to him. And we get to the free throw. 5 mil, 5, I mean, and it's sad because I don't know what I would do for 5 mil. But this guy, oh man, that's just so hard, man. I mean, stay pat, y'all. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta stay pat.
Well, as a matter of fact, let me cut you off, Al, but I'll lose this point for a minute. I know last year we were talking about, well, not last year, but during the playoffs and stuff, we were talking about, you said Westbrook reminded you, you said Ish reminded you of Robert Pack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't know he was the coach. He was a coach on the team. Mm-hmm. He coached like, I didn't know that.
Matter of fact, I remember when Westbrooks, when he first got here, and I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about.
The guy who was talking to him.
We were losing, and Westbrook had his jaw on the floor, and the dude was like, hey, man, you a superstar. And I'm gonna say Robert Pack was the one that got him fired up. He was like, yo, and I use that to say how I get on my football team. Hey man, I need to see coaches when somebody do something dumb, and the cameras love that. They'll go right over there, and that coach is like, man, that's what I want to see, because that is what coaches do. Or even when they're down, and let's say, for example, hey man, look, you got to get back in the game. Don't worry about it. Let's do this, whatever. But you could see them coaching. I saw a lot of people doing this. And when you're doing this, that's not enough. Because now you got to depend on these guys to motivate themselves. And that's your job. Your job is to be Mr. Motivator, Mr. Inspiring, Mr. Reminding, Mr. Sometimes slap him in the helmet. Like, if I see you miss another block. And that's what makes athletes get out there and perform, man.
Even if they only make it $5 million.
So
5 mil.
As we wrap this up a little bit, fellas.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
The small forward, the power forward position is going to be a lot of competition on this Wizards team.
That's our whole team.
Anybody want some forwards?
We got. That's the team right there. We got like 10 of them, and who's going to start? Who's going to get traded? Who's going to get cut? It's a lot on that small forward and power forward position, and we drafted small forwards, and even the guy we picked up in the latest draft as a 2-guard, but he looks like a small forward, the way he plays. I ain't see no ball handling skills from him. He's I ain't see no penetration from him.
You talking about Kispert, man?
Kispert, yeah.
Don't be talking about Kispert. Kispert, he's a rookie. Now, I saw Kispert in the summer league. They had a little blurb on him, man, and he's very comfortable. He's coming from a leadership position. He was out there in the summer league talking like a leader. He was talking on the court. Certain fundamentals that that he got from great coaching. So him bringing that and coming in, and I did see him, spin around off the dribble. Someone caught the ball. Doing what I expect him to do, make that shot. We need some shooters, and that's what we got, a shooter, hopefully. And so, and then maybe Big Al, that might motivate Mr. Lafayette Laser, right? What's his name? The Lafayette, Mr. Bertan. Maybe that'll motivate him, because remember, Deacon said it, the band was on fire. You know what I'm saying? He was like, oh my God, he can't miss anything. Got here, he can miss things. And so maybe he needs that motivation to say, I still want to play. I don't want to be relegated to obscurity. And the NBA is unforgiving.
We got 10 players for 2 positions. So
yeah, really we do. We do. We had the starter. Then we're just going to start.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about Aaron because he's going to be the backup.
Right.
You got Bradley Beal. And then you got Rui. Everybody else is questionable as who's starting because we don't know what Brian's going to be when he comes back. So it may be either him or Gafford, and everybody loves Gafford at this point. But he's still young and he still needs to work. He needs to he doesn't have a post game. It's just all slammer jammer. So we got a lot of work to do, but we got some players. Now, I'm not sure, how it's going to, match up against the rest of the league. But I think if they're trying to rebuild the team, you can't really expect much this year. It's the next year that everybody has to come together.
Well, we definitely have to weed through these small forward and power forward to get to our starters and our second team guys, because there's a lot of them. Who's the best?
Yeah, but you know who's going to be on the team already. You just don't know who's going to start.
Right.
That's right. Well, look, it's a good place to be, and we got a coach who's going to, burn everything down and develop some plays.
Prayer works.
We'll actually see some plays. We'll actually see some attempts to adjustments when they are needed.
Some fundamental defense.
To actually keep us in the game. If our offense,
how about just leadership?
Hey,
leadership.
No, that's not a small thing, and I like what you said, man. I like that. That's right. Just inspiring the team, inspiring this fan base, man. And once that happens, the sky's the limit. So even if we don't get to the playoffs this year, it's all going to matter how they play together and what they do. And when people come to Washington and know, man, this ain't no easy win. That's all it takes sometimes, man. Get that respectability going into the next year, maybe getting that extra man or somebody starting to say, you know what, I can go play with Bradley and them. Them boys about ready to turn it out. I mean, look at the Celtics. I mean, look at those are those kind of teams where every time they got all this transition going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, I know. Come on, I know. I think our area is better than Boston. I mean, come on. If it's not the same thing.
You trying to talk about Schroeder again, man? Leave him alone, man. Leave him alone, man.
5 minutes. Oh, man. I'm saying it. It's going to be okay. Shout out to Schroeder. I hope he screws the whole world wrong. Get the big bucks later on. Stay pat. DMV Sports 3, we want to thank you all for coming with us. And one more time, listen, one more again. Make sure that you hit the like button and be on the lookout, because there won't be any more like buttons and you won't hear me talk about subscribing once the DMVSports3.com hits. Oh my goodness, we're working on that. We're trying to get it together, because remember, we are for the fans, by some fans, man. We're all about you. We just want a place for you to be able to come and hear some fun content, share your content. We'll be able to do that too. And just enjoy being here in the DMV and doing things for all things DMV sports and community. So again, thank you, Deacon, Big Al, and me, Mr. Wright.
So sad.
We got to have a lot of money to have a real good time.